If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
Let's try that. Can you guys hear me now in the chat? Can you guys hear me now in the chat? If you guys can hear me, that'd be awesome. If you could just give me a thumbs up or something in the chat if you can hear me. Should be good now. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. All right, perfect. Let's go back here. Take two. All right. Welcome everybody to the Player Performance, the college basketball edition for the Wednesday slate. Of course, I come in here every time, 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. Hope you can hear me. I apologize for that. I had a mic issue there that it was reverting to my computer, but we fixed the problem here. And we're going to be bringing down the Wednesday slate. Top 3 games on the board that I could find anyways for the Wednesday slate, of course, coming with the best bet. And if you've been following along with the best bets here, man, oh man, have we been cashing the tickets. 5-1. Since I've been coming on here, giving you guys the best bets at the end of the show, but you're going to have to wait till the end of the show to get my best bet. That's how we're going to do it here, but still, I'll give you my leans of what I'm looking at here for the Wednesday slate, of course. Nothing official. If you want to get the official plays for the VIPs, you have to go to my Telegram. Of course, do the day pass there for $49, max bet included. Max bet doesn't cash, you get a week free, or you just get the combo deal of all combo deals with Coach Rick and myself for $99 for the week. And of course, special deal going to be coming in March here at towards the end of the month. Right now, $299. You can get my season pass for the college basketball slate, or we can come up with something here for the tournament as we get into my month is March. But without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the plays to pay the bills. Let's talk about St. Johnny's going against the UConn Huskies here. Number 16 versus number 6 at People's Bank Arena in Hartford, Connecticut. This is round 2 in this matchup. We'll talk about the outcome of the previous matchup in a second. And, of course, you have UConn that's coming off a 10-point win versus Villanova and losing to Creighton in the game prior to that. So it was a little bit of a look-ahead situation, but UConn got the job done versus Villanova. And then you have St. John's team that, well, at least in conference play, they've been red hot. We're talking 15-1 straight up in conference and 13, and they're on a 13-game conference win streak. So this is a very hot St. John's team. Well, you got to know about these two teams, 2 great defenses going against one another. I mean, you have UConn that is 13th in defensive efficiency this year. You have St. John's that's ranked 15th in defensive efficiency. Give the edge to the offense for UConn on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, UConn ranked top 25 in field goal percentage, 45th in three-point percentage. But they're not very good on the charity stripe. They're ranked 257th in the country in free throw percentage. So that is something that we're going to have to be keened in on as we get into March with the UConn Huskies. St. John's ranked 168th in field goal percentage, but they bang the boards really well. They're in the top 20 in offensive rebounding. And like I said, this is a matchup from earlier this season. February 6th was the matchup. St. John's beat UConn 81-72, 1-point home dogs in this situation. Now you're seeing them kind of a shorter dog here on the road. Not enough of a line shift to be like an aggressive UConn type of spot. But if you look at that first matchup, the key on that one was St. John's really got to the free throw line, 31 free throws versus 12 from UConn. And St. John's made 22 free throws in that game versus 5 from UConn. UConn kept themselves in the game with the 3-point shooting. But St. John's just a backable team here, especially on the road. 6-2 ATS on the road this year, but that was all as a favorite between 2 and 9. This is the first time we've seen them as a road dog this year. And UConn is 2-6 ATS in the last 8 home games, all as a double-digit favorite. So this is a unique situation for both teams from a spread perspective. I did look at the total on this one. I kind of lean towards the under, knowing that these two two teams know each other very well. So the scouting report's already out there. They've already played once. Did go over in that game at a 143. I think we're seeing 146 on the board. Kind of lean towards the under on this one. And I also lean towards St. John's. But am I going to be playing this game? I don't think so. I think these teams could match up yet again on a neutral court here in the Big East tournament, for that matter. We'll see how the seeding goes with that one. But this is not a game that I'm not real keened in on, but I'll give you my take on it. Lean towards the under is probably the strongest look on this one, knowing these two defenses play very well. And I think they could hold each other to a little bit of a rock fight here on Wednesday at 7 p.m. All right, let's get to the next game on the board. Let's talk a little SEC action here. Let's talk about Texas A&M going against them Hogs of Arkansas at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville on Wednesday. 9 p.m. is going to be the tip-off on this one, and you just have an Arkansas team that's kind of playing really well right now, despite their loss to Alabama. 4-1 straight up and ATS in the last 5 games, and they're off a win versus Missouri, right? Missouri was off a big win themselves, so take note of that. And then you have Texas A&M. They were kind of struggling there for a bit, but they're off back-to-back wins, beating Ole Miss, beating Oklahoma. Not the best teams in the world, but they're 2-4 straight up and ATS in their last 6 games. And, of course, the Arkansas offense, when you look at them, top 5 in the country. They know how to shoot. Their guard play is electric. We've seen many instances with them. They're 4th in offensive efficiency, 17th in field goal percentage, 24th in three-point percentage. Arkansas weaker on the defensive side. I will say that 50th in defensive efficiency this year. They're also ranked 277th in opposing scoring, which is kind of alarming for a Razorback team that, you have John Calipari as your coach. You think he would be a little bit more emphasized on the defense, but that team's scoring at a high rate. Then you have A&M. 36th in offensive efficiency, 44th in defensive efficiency. They're actually ranked 276th in opposing scoring, too. So both teams tend to give up the points. I will say this about Texas A&M is they've, in these big dog roles like we're seeing here, they have found ways to not only cover spreads, play close games, but also score points. 7-1 ATS in the last 8 road games, 6-2 ATS as a dog this year. And A&M, like I said, they put up some points, especially on the road. You go look at the numbers. 90 versus Auburn, 82 versus Tennessee, 92 versus Georgia, 97 versus Alabama, a team we already have a barometer on because Arkansas has already played Alabama, right? But you got to look at Arkansas, too. Arkansas has been giving up the points as of late. You look at their last 4 home games, 3 out of those 4 games, they've given up 80 points or more to their opponents. So this is probably a section where I don't know. I don't want to step in front of Arkansas at one point, knowing that how good they've played as of late. And this is a team that is kind of hungry, still in the bubble, still trying to get themselves in a good position to get into the tournament. Same thing with A&M, though. A&M has that mentality as well. Could be a little bit of a look ahead for Arkansas, knowing they have Florida on deck, too. That could be something that we need to look at in this game. But let's just focus on the team total here. I think Texas A&M team total over is something that we can look at here, knowing that this team can put up points on the road to virtually any opponent in the SEC. And you'll be seeing Arkansas at home at least give up the points, even though they're scoring themselves. I just think the team total over, we can get some value with that on Wednesday. So I'm leaning in that direction. Not sure if I'm going to get there on Wednesday. But if there's going to be a play to look at in this game, I think Texas A&M team total over is the one we're going to be looking at here. All right. We got 2 more plays to give you. I got to make sure you guys watching at home, watching later, watching whenever. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Jay Cavalier channel. Hit the thumbs up. Get into the comment section. Please just support what we're doing here. We're giving you this information for absolutely free. And just want to make sure we carry that along. And also make sure if you're not part of my Telegram, please be part of my Telegram and get into the VIPs and enjoy the free plays as well. Why not? All right, let's get into the third play that we're going to be talking about tonight. Let's go with Wisconsin going against Oregon in Timmons Arena, Greenville, North Carolina, 6 p.m. East is going to be the tip-off of this one. It's going to be an early game. I'm sorry, gave you the wrong one there. It's going to be the late night degenerate special here with Matthew Knight Arena in Eugene, Oregon. We're talking 11 p.m. East on Wednesday, and you got Wisconsin coming off a nice win, beat up on Iowa. They're 5-1 ATS in the last 6 games. This is a team you do not want to step in front of. Oregon on the other side, they're coming off a 1-point win versus USC. However, they're 2-11 straight up in their last 13 games, and they're getting demolished in a lot of these cases. So they're 2-1 in their last 3. I will say that, but their wins were against Penn State and USC. On the Wisconsin side, just better team statistically overall, which makes sense knowing their records. Wisconsin 18th in offensive efficiency, 56 in defensive efficiency. You have Oregon that is ranked 126 in offensive efficiency and 105th in defensive efficiency. There is a big variable between these two teams. Then you got to look at Oregon. What do they like to do? They like to play slow, and they play slow at home too. They're ranked 269th in adjusted tempo this year. They only allow 69 points per game at home. However, they have allowed some points. If you want to, well, I wouldn't say a lot of points, but when they play good offenses at home, they seem to be able to contain them in some way, shape, or form. We're talking like Iowa State. They held them to 72 points, 81 points held to Michigan. Michigan, one of the best teams in the country. We know that. And they held UCLA. They could put up points, 73 points. They held them too. So this is an Oregon team, despite their failures as far as win-loss record is concerned, they can play so freaking slow that teams can't rack up the points like they should. In most cases, when you're playing an Oregon team, they're just trying to get out there with the win and go to the next game and not kill themselves. Oregon has struggled scoring in conference play. I will say that, especially at home. You go look at the numbers on that one. At home, they've averaged 62 points per game in their last 7 home conference games. So this is a team not only holds people to low scoring, they also can't score themselves. I believe they scored 47 in their previous home game or something like that, and that was against Minnesota of all teams. This team really struggles putting the biscuit in the basket, man. And then you got Wisconsin. Is known for giving up points on the road. I will say that they have been giving up some points here and there, but look at the teams that they have had to play on the road. I mean, we're talking about Nebraska, Michigan, Minnesota, Penn State, Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio State. Those are the teams that they played, and a lot of those are highly ranked offensive producing teams. I mean, Illinois is number 1 in the country in that statistic. Michigan's up there. Nebraska's up there. I mean, so you have teams that can really score points. That's why you're seeing these variables in the number, and of course, Wisconsin giving up points on the road. I don't think they're going to be giving up a lot of points in this situation because Oregon has just underperformed versus conference opponents. I mean, they're 1-6 straight up, 2-4 ATS in the last 6 conference games, and Wisconsin has performed well on the road. I mean, even despite giving up the points, they're 5-2 ATS on the road. And they're coming off a road loss to Ohio State. So they're going to want that bounce back factor in there. They're going to go into this game. And I think from my perspective is are they going to cover the spread on a late night degenerate game on the West Coast? I think it's the first leg too, or something like that. I have to double check that one. But playing in an Oregon team, I mean, this team just can't score. And even if it is a close game and it looks sloppy and it looks gross, I do think that Wisconsin is able to hold this Oregon team to a low total. So if I'm going to be playing this one just as a lean, Oregon team total under is the way I'm going to be looking at this one. All right, broke down the top 3 of the top games that we're going to be looking at on Wednesday. I got my best bet coming up. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the J Cavalier channel. Make sure you check out everything that I'm doing on Instagram, @Wylose_guns. I'm going to drop a video pick tomorrow. So go check that one out. We hit our video pick yesterday with the under in the UNC Louisville game. And we've just been cooking on all these plays for the video play. So please support me. follow me on Instagram and go check me out on Telegram. The link is in the bio. Shout out to the chat. I see my guy Pre in the building. What's going on, brother? M the Great. What's good? And Adam Summerford. I appreciate you guys sticking around while I had audio issues. So without further ado, glad you stuck around because guess what? You're going to be getting my best bet. That is 5-1 for the show. You ready? Let's do it. And we're going to get dirty. We're going to get dirty. And there was one team that kept me from a perfect record on the best bets here on the show. There's one, and I'm going to go back and fade them. And you know which one it is. Anybody in the chat wants to know, drop it in there. But we're going to be talking about Citadel versus Furman here on Wednesday. Timmons Arena in Greenville, North Carolina. This is going to be a 6 p.m. tip-off on Wednesday. So it's going to be the first game out the gate for the evening. If you're on the East Coast, of course. You're on the West Coast. It's going to be a little bit of an afternoon action at 3 o'clock. But Citadel, you got to look at their numbers. One of the worst teams in college basketball statistically. They're 443rd in offensive efficiency. They're 345th in defensive efficiency. So these from an offensive and a defense perspective, you do not want to back Citadel in a lot of cases, but they are covering spreads here and there. I got to admit that. Furman, you got to look at their numbers. They are solid for a mid-major. On the offensive and defensive side, if you're looking at just their defense first, 80th and on their offensive side first, they're 80th in offensive field goal percentage, and they're 74th in offensive rebounding. And you got to look, they can actually shoot the ball from a 2-point perspective. They're ranked 12th in the country in 2-point percentage, which plays into the weakness of the Citadel, because Citadel is ranked in the bottom 300th at defending 2-point shots. That plays right into what you want to do with Furman. And guess what? You got a revenge factor in this one because Furman lost to Citadel on January 21st, 77-75. That game went to overtime, and I went and looked back. Do you realize that when these two teams meet up, if they're meeting up in the Citadel, the last 3 matchups have gone into overtime? Now, Furman won 2 of them. Citadel won the previous one, of course. But yes, Furman goes into the Citadel every single time and just lays an egg. They were a double-digit favorite in that situation. Of course, we're seeing a line at 16.5 currently. So correlate that to what it was last year because the same thing kind of happened. It was a very close game. It went to overtime at the Citadel. Then what happened? They played at Furman. And guess what happened? Furman was a 15.5-point favorite last year, and they won by 43 points at home. And they held the Citadel to like 48 points, and they scored 80+. So this is a same type of situation that we saw last year. So I would expect big things. And it gets even better than that when we're looking at this best bet because it is the final home game of the season there for Furman. So it's going to be a high motivational point. Senior night, these are the spots that we like to take. And, of course, Citadel has not done well on the road. Their numbers are not great overall. And you have Furman with the revenge, checking a lot of boxes here for me situationally. So what am I telling you? We're going to be jumping on Furman as a double-digit favorite here for the best bet. Furman, minus 16.5 as the best bet for the show. 5-1. Let's make it 6-1. All right. We broke down the top 4 plays, or at least top 3, should say this, 3 top 25 games, and, of course, the best bet for the show. To break it down for you, I lean towards the under in St. John's and UConn tomorrow. I like the A&M, Texas A&M, team total over tomorrow. Leans, of course. And then Oregon, team total under versus Wisconsin. And, of course, the best bet for the show, the official one, Furman, minus 16.5 is the way I'm going to be doing this one. So I appreciate you guys joining up here. I know there's a lot of games on. Everybody's sweating, the picks and all that stuff. If you're watching now, you're watching later. Please like and subscribe to the J Cavalier channel. Make sure you get the views up, get the clicks, get the engagement. Drop a few comments if you've been loving the heat that's been dropped on this channel. I should get the overall record for the show. We've been hitting a lot of these plays that I'm giving out, even just as the leans. So hopefully I'm giving you the sharpest information on the planet. Make sure you share with your friends. Make sure you tell everybody that Why Lose is the best place to get your college action from myself, from Coach, and from Jay Cavalier, and anybody that's on this channel. That's why you need to be watching this channel always. And of course, we will see you Friday to break down the Saturday slate, Coach Rick and myself, hopefully. If not, you're going to still see my stupid face, but we'll take it, right? We'll take it because we've been hitting the best bets left and right. All right, I appreciate you guys joining up for the show. Let's cast some tickets. Let's dominate, Dubbo. And as always, yup. Ooh, let's keep dancing. Bang!
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation